Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell is believed to be from reliable sources. However, no responsibility is assumed for inaccuracies. No statement made on this broadcast should be construed as a specific recommendation of a particular investment product. Views expressed are those of the speakers and do not necessarily represent those of CBS Radio. Use only as directed.
Smiles, everyone. Smiles. And prepare yourself for...
Show me the money!
Ladies and gentlemen, the radio broadcast experience designed to keep your wallet in top condition. It's Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Talkin' money. Talkin' money. More money, more money, more money.
And now entering the studio, your guru for fiscal fitness, Jeff Tarbell.
Right, how you doing?
What's happening?
What happening? Someone give me something cool for my neck there, Tito. We should probably just turn the lights off in here again. I'm not falling for that again twice there, John. I can barely... is your right arm killing you?
A little bit.
Yeah, my right arm and my left butt. Which is, another story of... never mind. I was going to go somewhere that wouldn't have come out well, and so I'll stay right there anyway. We are back, Jack, live for another 2 hours or something close to it until we get bored and just get up and leave.
That's right.
Whatever.
Go out and play in the sun.
Yeah, please. I got nothing but hosing to do today.
Hosing?
I got a lot of hosing to do. There we go. See you next week, everybody. You getting married this weekend?
No.
Oh, okay. Thought maybe that new rule was going to get you. See, I'm going to mess with you already.
Yeah, no, I'm already married.
Oh, you're already married. We started our show the same way. Hey, Chris, we're matchies today. Wait, can you see my shirt? Yep.
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, you saw it already, yeah. So I got on my Boston gear. So every day we start the show the same way. From the mind of Christopher Lott. How come my screen says, we're sorry, but something went wrong?
We have a new text machine.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's been working.
It's been like all new technology does, huh? Just give me the old version of the 1 finger or 2 finger and let me know. So if you want to text us, good luck with that. I guess if on your end, it probably works just fine. On this end, I'm not sure we'll see it. We will.
Nope, we got the same thing you got.
Oh, you do? Okay. So you can text us or you can call us or you can just sit there and pick your nose. I don't care. 339-1140. Christopher Lott is going to fire us up today. What's happening in there?
Well, I think it's been my job lately to tell people about sports that they have been missing.
Yes.
And a big sporting event tonight is going to be the Gennady Golovkin fight versus Matthew Macklin. And it's funny, this guy Golovkin, he's from Kazakhstan, which we should have no idea who he is because he's from Kazakhstan, but this guy knocks everybody out. Matthew Macklin's a hard brawler. You're not going to see 12 rounds. This is going to be amazing, and hope everyone gets excited. It's going to be on HBO tonight.
Like are we talking heavyweights, lightweight, midweight? Where
middleweights.
Middleweights, okay. Has anybody seen like a heavyweight fight anymore? Does any heavyweights exist?
Unfortunately, the Klitschko's
beat everybody up
the division.
Okay.
And there's no one that can really compete with them.
Okay.
When you're at 240, 6'5", you're not going to be competing with anybody in anything.
Not a whole lot of contenders.
Yeah, I'm at 240. My problem is I'm 5'5", so I am the perfect weight if I was 6'5".
The problem is that every American that's 6'4", 240, 250 is playing football.
Yeah,
right.
Well, probably smart. Either way, you may end up with brain damage. So that's it. That's the sum total of your watch boxing tonight.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be exciting. My friend has his birthday tonight. I'm going to have to sneak out and find a TV.
Okay, well, why don't you buy him the fight for his birthday there?
No, it's free. It's on HBO. That's the perfect thing about it.
HBO's not free. There's no such thing as free TV.
Sort of free. It's freer than pay-per-view.
Nothing's free.
Hey, so speaking of sports, have you been down to... did you go down to the Sleep Train Arena at all this week when the Kings had their pick your seats?
Unfortunately, I had to work here.
Oh, you're working here. I mean,
they had the show out there for the draft party.
Yeah, so I didn't get that, but I did. So if you go back, when was the deal where they wanted like 10,000 season ticket holders to go back to the NBA? So whenever that was, I don't know.
That was about March with the Here We Buy effort.
March of this year?
Yeah.
It seems like so long ago. I was going to say like 2011.
So many things have changed.
So as part of that, I put my name in the hat and said, hey, put us down, or count our company down as we'll take some tickets, thinking that there's no way in hell the team's going to stay. Hey, give me 4. Give me the best seats you got. And damn it if we didn't stay. So I got my little private invitation to come down Monday. See, and I don't read a lot of the details. I just look at the main headline. Your time is for Monday. So I showed up with a couple of my partners on Monday to show up there, and really all they were doing was selling the black King's Row seats like at $1,300 a pop. I'm like, oh hell no!
You get the wrong guy.
Yeah. They said, well, the rest of you guys are tomorrow. So I was down there wrong anyway. But it did shock me because you walk in. And you walk into the arena, and so the entire arena has, basically a bunch of little tags like this on some seats around there. And I'm thinking, okay, this is honest to God, this is my thought. Those are the seats that have been reserved already. And you could there's a couple tags here, a couple tags here, a couple tags here. I'm like, oh, okay, there's a lot of seats here. We'll be able to pick what we want. So I go look around, and those were the seats that were left. And this was the first day for supposed to be for the all they were selling was the King's Row thing. So the guy told me, come back tomorrow, and we'll sell the rest of them. And from what I heard, they basically had to stop selling season tickets because they wanted to maintain 5,000 seats, I think, upstairs. Have you heard anything like that? Similar?
Yeah, that's usually the rule for every team.
So that place seats 15,000?
17,000.
Okay, so if I do the math in my head, which is dangerous, that's about 11,000 plus season tickets that are now sold. And that is pretty incredible. I mean, quite frankly, let's be honest, team ain't going to be that much better this year. So maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe they'll get together. But, I mean, I think everybody's looking around saying, and I think it's true, if you want to be in the new arena, the new building, you better have a ticket in the old building. So we were able to track down a couple seats at least that were in the lower bowl. But I say, pat yourself on the back, Sacramento. I mean, that's got to feel good to the NBA to go back and say, oh, by the way, we had to stop selling season tickets because we're all out. We want to maintain 5,000 seats for just to sell on a game by game basis.
Awesome.
So that's pretty cool. And
did you shoot the half court shot?
No, they told me to get out. And I didn't even get a mimosa. I got nothing. But I was there on the wrong day. I wasn't sure what I was signing up for. I was just trying to be, and I don't want to sit down. And quite frankly, I've sat on the floor before in the King's Row seat as a radio station. Someone gave me some tickets, and I don't like it. I don't like. You don't see the whole game very well. You're seeing your legs are kind of up in your throat. Jason Williams kicked my popcorn in my lap and beat me up. I mean, it's just I'd rather sit up a couple of 3 rows.
Well, what was awesome with the half court shot was the new season ticket holders. If you made a half court shot, you got a free season ticket for the year, along with what you already bought. And there was 5 winners of that.
Oh, really?
So there was 5 season tickets for free.
Sweet. Yeah, I wouldn't have.
He would have made it anyway.
I wouldn't have made that. I could barely make a strike last night in the bowling. I barely did that. So anyway, I don't know what to tell you guys. If you want season tickets to the Kings, it's going to be like it used to be, where you. And I think that opening night this year, the teams, regardless of what they're projected to do, opening night's going to be killer this year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just going to be a lot of excitement, but certainly. Now I believe. Hey, Chris, do you know, is the new arena going to be about I think they're projecting 18,000 seats?
Yeah, so it's going to be a couple thousand more.
So you'll have another chance maybe in a couple of years, or maybe the enthusiasm will die off a little bit next year. But anyway, I was shocked. I mean, literally, I would have guessed there was maybe 2,500 season tickets
sold. Who bought them?
I know.
I'm here.
Where are these people? Where are these people? So anyway, good congratulations to everybody and to the new owners, and thank you very much. And I guess your investment's going to pay off, at least this year. So good for you. Now let's get a team that can win a half a dozen games.
Do something, absolutely.
It'll be good. Yeah, speaking of, are your shoulder?
So I'm pretty sure if you're 40 plus years old and you bowl and you're sore the next day, that there's issues. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you're out of shape, or you don't bowl. I haven't bowled
long time.
Yeah, we had a company bowling event last night. It was just kind of a fun way to get some people together, and our company has become fairly large. I mean, you go back to when I used to have my own company, which was ATM Mortgage. There was 15 of us, and we were all in one building. And then even when I joined Comstock and Comstock merger, there was 50 of us. We were basically in one building, and now there's 150 of us,
right?
In 7 buildings, and going to be in 4 states, and different things. So a lot of the people that were there, I don't know, and I don't like that. I mean, from some standpoint,
apparently you need to get out a little bit.
Well, it's part of it is like I feel a little bad. I mean, I am the chairman of the board. I should, but I guess it doesn't mean you should know. I mean, maybe the chairman of the board doesn't have to know everybody, but people come and go all the time. So, but it was great to get out there and do that. And what was the name of that place we bowled?
Mardi Gras VHFs or UHF?
Oh, that was Mardi
Gras bowling.
I thought Mardi Gras was the one out there on the old Fair Oaks Bowl, on the old no.
What?
Yeah, I'm thinking of Crestview, the old Crestview.
Oh, the one on Fair Oaks.
Yeah,
or
that one's
Manzanita.
gone. So I haven't been bowling in years. And that place was pretty clean and nice. And
I was surprised by some of the young teenagers that knew how to bowl. Not in our deal with the Comstock, but to the side. There were some kids, 14, 15. These dudes are just rocking this ball.
Firing it off.
Amazing.
Yeah, so my bowling goes down. So I always bowl. Well, I haven't bowled in 20-something years. I damn near guttered the first couple shots. But I ended up with a 167. A 167 for a fat guy who hasn't bowled in a bunch of years. It's not that
too
bad.
shabby.
But I blew my damn arm out. I mean, after that, I was dropping the ball in my shoe trying to get it down the lane there. So yeah, it was fun, good times, and I'm sore.
Get out and bowl.
It's like everything from the left side down is just sore. So I don't know. Maybe I need to
bowl with your left hand.
Maybe I just ought to go to mix in the gym once in a while.
Exactly.
Just all these little fat bars I'm eating. So we've got a lot of things to cover today. Interesting week again, although I would say not quite as monumental in terms of just,
ridiculousness.
Yeah, ridiculousness. So we'll talk about that. I hope you're not hawking your gold front teeth this week, because you may pop them back in your mouth. Your gold is 23% decline in the price of gold in a very short window of time. So, and you still, even when I was driving in this morning, I still heard on satellites, gold. Now's the time to buy gold. It's never been better, and maybe now is the time to buy gold.
That's true, right?
If it drops 25%, maybe you should look at it again. But I don't know where you stand on the gold thing. We'll talk about that some, and a lot of things to cover. Your calls and questions. If you're not already on vacation, I was down in San Francisco for Thursday night and Friday, and they're gearing up for the big Gay Pride event. So the town's going to be a zoo. But I don't know if I've ever talked about that. I do a little bit of expert witness work, and I have to say, our court system is really a screwed up mess.
No,
especially if you're an expert witness.
Yeah, if I'm an expert in anything, you're right, Chris. That's the first sign that this is not going to go well for anybody. But the amount of waste and wasted time and wasted money, and remember, phrase this: I'm the one getting paid to be there, and I'm complaining and saying this is a waste. This is a waste. And I won't go into what the case was, but and quite frankly, it wasn't mortgage related. It was something more closely to like a workers' comp type of a thing. That has nothing to do with me. There's just a mortgage segment involved in the overall case that's been going on, and so I'm down there to testify on whatever. So someone has to pay me to leave my house on a Thursday, drive to San Francisco, stay the night, have dinner, get up, sit on my ass from 9 o'clock in the morning until whenever they get around to me, which yesterday they never got around to me. Let me go at 4. I drive home for 2 more hours, 3 more hours yesterday to 7, and then they got to pay for my mileage. This is one person in a case that has a lot of persons involved in it, and it was just so disorganized on the other side, and I don't get. It's frustrating. And if you, it just bothers me as an employer. And you look around and you say, oh my God. It makes you want to go out and not hire anybody, and not take any risk and not do anything, because and this was a legitimate case. There's nobody's disputing that. It's all the other BS that goes on around it, and the amount of waste and wanting. And
trying to prove or disprove something.
It doesn't. And as I was watching, so I'm sitting there in the cafeteria, and this is the big federal courthouse in San Francisco, and there's this actually may be all workman's comp in that building. It could all be that. It may not be. I don't know. But I was just watching, all these different attorneys and different clients, people coming and going and back and forth, and trying to negotiate deals outside the hall, which is really what you should do. And I'm thinking, my God, what a waste of money. What a waste of money. And I don't know. And I look at it and said, this isn't the first time I've been down there on this, and now I got to come back and do this all again. and it's just it's sad. It really is. It's sad, and I know there's probably a half a dozen attorneys and lawyers that could get on the phone right now and judges and say you haven't seen nothing yet.
Right.
But anyway, it's as someone who hates to just see money just get burned for nothing. You sit there for a day and you're like, oh my gosh, this is not good, not good. But the system feeds itself, and everybody's there making a living doing something, and they don't. I guess what bothers me the most is they don't penalize you for being disorganized. That's really what it comes down to. You sit there, and if you show up and you're half-assing it today, the judge lets you fart around, and we'll come back again tomorrow. And I'm thinking, well, do you know?
I got things to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, do you know how much money is sitting here waiting for you to make, to get on with it? So I don't know.
Probably after waiting a year to even have that date. Or
easy.
So,
easy. Yeah, and now it's going to be another 3 or 4 months before we can all get back together at the same time again, and I don't know. Anyway, it's just one of those life lessons. So my summary to you is this: regardless what your case is, if you fender bendered somebody or your employee was hurt or something, if you can just settle it and be done with it, do it. I mean, just do it, because the multiplier effect of having to go through what I'm seeing is ridiculous. Just in terms of just burden on your mind and on your pocketbooks. Settle the deal. That's why we need a 15% flat tax.
Settle and move on.
Screw the IRS. We're saying, what did you make? Send in 15%. We're done. No CPAs, no filings, no withdrawals, no deductions. Just here's your money. Leave us alone. We'll be on to it next year. I mean, there's something for making life a little simpler, I think. We've got to take a break, and then I promise we'll get into something for reals. What it is, I have no idea. But if you want to jump in today, it appears, and I say that lightly, it appears... Jeff, are they paying you $350 an hour? That's the going rate now. No, but I actually may hire you as my agent. I'm just a little bit south of the $350 an hour. Again, we have to go back to Chris's original reference. If I'm considered an expert, then there is an issue right there. I might have been at the $3.50 an hour mark. I think I cleared a full $20 yesterday.
Nice.
Oh, then I had lunch there in the cafeteria, so I might be up $2. $2 chuck.
And then I hear there's little issues on the freeway coming home.
Oh, did anybody else see that?
Did you see that? What happened?
No, but
somebody robbed Walmart.
Okay.
In Vacaville or something, and apparently they took off and they wouldn't stop, so the cops chased them on the 80 and apparently started shooting at the other car.
It's not the 80.
Oh, 80.
Okay,
sorry.
That's an East Coast. It's
that's
not
right.
It's not the 80. It's not the 80 and the 5. It's 80.
I'm from Pennsylvania, so give me a break here.
Hate the 80. And they shot him?
Yeah, apparently the cop shot him.
Why couldn't they shoot him off the freeway?
Because they knew you were coming.
What's the difference whether you kill him here or here?
Well, then they had to bring in a helicopter to land on the freeway.
I did see a life flight flying around a little bit.
To not take anybody out, so there was some more expense that...
Oh, they didn't get him out?
No. Apparently they were just wounded.
Oh. Give him a Band-Aid. Well, because you know darn well if you don't blow out a Friday night...
They were stealing TVs from Walmart.
Well, they got extra. What's wrong with the flat screen?
Just let them go.
What's wrong with the flat screen? You got to take it.
Write it off.
You got to take a bullet to the rear end over a flat screen. Anyway, we got to take a break. We're all over the place. This is your fault again. We've got a quiz question. We do have one, and I stress one pair of tickets to Little Texas, which is the band who's playing up at the Hellwig Winery
Saturday, July 13th.
Okay,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. You got one pair for that. So if you want to get in to see Little Texas, we can do that. Hellwig Winery in the evening should be fairly nice and cool. Anything will be cooler after the next 5 days, I promise.
You hope.
You want to go see some Sacramento River Cats? I'm going to be out there tonight checking out a game myself. It's going to be a little warm out there tonight, isn't it?
A little toasty.
Perfect night.
Perfect night for a cold beer, and that'll go well. So, or we have some artisan flatbread pizza from our friends at Round Table Pizza. So your choice. And by the way, on the River Cats, if you don't know this, it's any game you want to go to. So it's not for a specific game. Any home game, we'll give you tickets. You just walk up to the window and say, "Give me the best seats you have available," and they will do that. And you can, and maybe tonight you get on the shade side. Reasonable idea.
Doubt.
Reasonable idea if you want to do that. So
or just come late. Probably doing some fireworks, I bet,
yeah,
tonight.
They'll do some fireworks tonight. So go ahead there. What's your question?
All right, so iPads. Let's see. Looks like American Airlines are using the iPad.
Yeah.
Which is saving them $1.2 million a year. How is the iPad saving them $1.2 million a year?
American Airlines converting to the iPad. I'm sure they use the iPad some places. So how's the iPad going to save American Airlines $1.2 million a year? I will buy 2 iPads if I can get the same return on my investment.
No doubt.
Like, I'm 3 iPads away from retiring. How about you, Chris? How many iPads do you want in there?
I just need one.
You just need one. So are you telling me right now for $1.2 million you would quit working?
Oh, yeah.
And how long would that last you at your current budget?
At my current budget,
the problem
about
is
80 years.
About the rest of my life.
You'd be in Vegas for one hell of a weekend like that. And
See, that's probably what I would do.
And you'd be back here on Monday. Damn it, I lost my $1.2 million. Can I have another iPad, Jeff? This is Talkin' Money. If you want to answer our question, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. And I'm getting texts, so it must be working. You can text us at 441140. My name's Jeff. That's John. This is Talkin' Money, and we're going to be
right back, Jack.
Talkin' Money.
And we're back to Talkin' Money with your host, Jeff Tarbell.
All right.
Yeah. It's not really it feels like a vacation weekend, holiday weekend, but it really isn't. When is 4th of July? Is that
Thursday?
Yeah, so
pretty much nothing will get done between now and this following week.
This week, yeah. Well, next weekend will probably be pretty big. If you were leaving the city yesterday, I think the entire town vacated at 3:45 and then ran into the guys that got shot stealing the TV at the same time. And I was listening to the KFBK the news up here on the traffic, and they're like, traffic is incredibly light up here. I'm like, yeah, there's 4 million people in a bottleneck down the street, dude. You're gonna have to give me an hour. We're getting there. Actually, I never listened to another station. That was a total slip, and it only was listening to Chris's news here. So we did get a winner, and the question was about paperwork, or what was it?
How is the iPad saving American Airlines $1.2 million?
And we had a lot of people saying they're replacing having the pilots use them in the cockpit for navigation. So is it?
That's part of the answer. The real answer. We already had a winner?
Yeah.
All right. So the real answer is because of removing the charts in the leather bags that the pilots are carrying, it's saving weight, which is therefore saving 400,000 gallons of fuel because of
a year
weight savings. And that 400,000 gallons of fuel is worth about $1.2 million at current prices.
Nice.
And then it also, I find it the interesting part is
some worker comp claims, huh?
35-pound bags that toting them around was one of Americans' biggest sources of pilot injuries. So now they have an iPad in their back pocket versus a 35-pound suitcase of paper that they had to flip through in order to find something.
Yeah, and I feel a little bit better.
I hurt my back.
I feel a little bit better about having a pilot. And what's interesting is you look at most of your private pilots and your small general aviation. They've been using the iPads and the charts for years and years and years. In fact, you used to buy, when I was learning to fly, you'd buy this. I can't think of the name of it. It's like a little blue binder book. It's about this big. And you could buy different charts and things, and then you'd have to subscribe to a service because the service
to get the updated ones.
Yeah, send you a new one because we just built a new tower over here, so don't run into it. And then you constantly change the. And then you're trying to fly the plane and you're farting around looking at this thing down here. And now
35 pounds of paper.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that big, but now most guys will just mount a little iPad up on there, either on the yoke or up on the dash, like Sarducci does there, and you just plug in the airport you're coming into, and his, like in Craig's, you can see your own little plane on the chart. It shows you kind of where you're coming, and you can get the weather on them. I mean, that function. What's so amazing is that you go back to pre-iPad, and we're only talking about going back maybe even 6 or 7 years now, and before all the software program, that to get those functions, to have a computer in your aircraft, even in your small airplane that would chart the weather, that would do traffic collision, and all the charts and things. If you wanted the kind of that was a $100,000 to $200,000 stack of computer equipment in an airplane, and now it's an iPad app for $19.99 a month and in a $600 iPad. I mean,
crazy.
It is, and then you talk about weight. You just think of how much it would cost. So it's just revolutionized everything, and certainly the airline industry is one of them. So pretty. And I did notice the last time we were flying a number of flights, the guy had his little iPad out. He was winging through his charts and things. So that was pretty pretty fun. So we did get a winner to that. We can. I don't know if you took one off the text. You can do that too if you'd like.
Also, Jeff, I think we should note that if a flight attendant tells you to turn off your iPad, you'd say, "We'll tell the pilot to turn
Yeah,
his
hey. When he turns off his, I'll turn off mine.
I'll turn off mine."
That's right. Now, did you see they're actually going to change that rule? And I think now we can, I guess, carry a buck knife and an iPad and have them both on. I guess they backed off on the knife thing a little bit, but that's a shocker. But they are going to allow you to have some of your iPad, your electronic equipment on, and that's going to phase itself in.
No kidding.
And this is what I don't get. So we're in the obscure world. So the Supreme Court says the gay people can marry. Okay, great. 10 seconds later, they're getting married. Fine. The FAA says we can use our iPads. We're going to phase that in over the next 6 or 7 months. Well, hell, it's either dangerous or it's not. So why don't we
doing test studies?
Why don't we phase it in like right now? If you guys have determined, okay, we're not going to die if I'm playing Angry Birds, then why don't we just go ahead and do Angry Birds as we're flying off? I think that they like the attention on them when they're speaking in the microphone. I think
so?
I think that's exactly what it is they want to show you where the exits are, and that's really what it comes down to. So,
well, I was on Southwest a couple of days ago. They still tell you like, "Hey, turn off your phones and your
flip phone
iPads when we're landing," but everyone still has them out, and they don't go and stop you. They see it, so
no, because they're not going to get out of their chair to come down, walk down the aisle, make sure. So they would actually die coming down the aisle trying to tell you if your iPad because the plane bumps and they go flipping through the aisle. So yeah, I don't believe a lot of that. But what do I know? I don't know anything. We've got a couple lines open if you want to jump in today. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. This I thought was hilarious. This was in this morning's paper. You probably saw it too from Jay Leno. The Girl Scouts announced that their pension plan is a $347 million deficit. The Girl Scouts are $347 million in debt. So in addition to teaching girls about camping, it's also preparing them for careers in government. So they are $347 million in debt in the Girl Scout pension plan. Why is there a Girl Scout pension plan?
I'm guessing the cookie sales are off a little bit. You need to eat more cookies.
But
I don't know. Who's getting paid for that?
Well, I guess the Girl Scouts have a full-time...
council?
Well, they must have some full-time employees, but how many? And for how long have they not been putting in the account? $347 million short in the Girl Scout fund.
They're just following the government.
I'm not buying those cookies next year.
Just following the government.
They're going to be extremely expensive cookies next year. I can guarantee you that. Did you see? I wasn't joking there before the break. Gold 23% decline, steepest ever on record for a single decline in gold. So that tells you, what does that tell you? Well, it tells you that those that ran the prices of gold up hopefully probably made their money and got out before the 23% decline. But it also tells you that the general market believes that rates are on the way up. Duh. All I got to do is read the news. But as a permanent, and also tells you probably that the general market believes maybe our government isn't going to collapse and our economy will or is improving because you only... Well, people, you can buying gold is not bad. Having all gold is not so good, unless you found it and it's in your in your safe and it's a big rock you didn't pay for. But generally, if you're buying gold, you have a general belief that there is nothing else in the world worth holding, and so generally you see a lot of people will run to gold and real estate as the two things they can put their hands on and hold on to. But gold doesn't pay any dividends, it doesn't pay any interest, it doesn't have any returns. It can only go up or down. So it's a hedge if you think everything else in the world is going to go to hell and back. You hold gold because, you can either hold gold physically or you can hold certificates in gold. But the minute that train stops and everybody thinks, oh, okay, I guess we're not going to be World War Z, and I guess we are going to start to climb out of this, then everybody looks around and goes, God, I got all this money sitting in gold and it's not doing anything for me. So unless you physically like to look at it, and
polish it,
and you hold it, you hold some of it, and again, if it's a small percentage of your overall investment portfolio, so what? It's the one part that goes up when everything else is going down, and right now everything else is going up and it's going down. Okay, that's what things do. But you sure hear a lot of infomercial stuff about buying gold. It's going to double in the next 5 years, and it's going to double in the next 5 years, and so that train has come to. That was a little bubble on its own, and that looks like it maybe has at least slowed down or stopped for a little bit. So inflation, interest rates going up. I did see that we just ended this first half of the year, although June was down June's the first month we've actually been down for the month in terms of overall investment returns. We're up for the year, and I think we're up almost 13% for the year. So, and that's across the board. That's not just the Dow. So maybe it's time to take a look at your financial statement or your 401k statement and look and see, okay, did I make 13%? Now, you probably didn't. I mean, some of you probably made 7 or 8. Some of you probably made 17 or 18, depending on where you were, where you were invested. But it is a good indication, and I do think you should, and it's hard to do. And I'll tell you honestly, I don't do it either. I don't look at my statement and go, okay, should I be rebalancing these? And I do have a financial advisor, and they do call and they say we like to meet twice a year, and I'm like, hey, dude, I'm busy. I'm trying to make a living here. But and I guess if you got 50 cents in your 401k, it doesn't matter. If you got 50 million in there, you might want to take a look at it. And I got neither. But it is a good chance to take a look and just take a gauge and say, okay, what am I really making? The hard part for me is that for the most part, I don't get statements anymore, right? So you have your little Quicken or whatever, and it goes on the internet every day, and it uploads, and I can look and tell you, okay, yesterday I had $1.50 in there, today I had $1.65, and tomorrow I had $1.35. But I can't tell you whether those returns without digging into the statements and figuring out, okay, what am I into these things for, and maybe there's some reporting in my Quicken program. There probably is. I could figure it out. But I do think you should stop and look and say, number one, am I investing in my 401k? Am I maxing that thing out? Because if you got to believe, I got to believe that for at least in the near future, we've gone through the worst. Now, I'm not sure. Have we already gone overboard? I mean, our stock's too expensive right now. Because part of me says, I don't know why they're doing so well.
I've been thinking that for 2 years.
I mean, it's like, why are we seeing such big returns on stocks? Because I still, as a general rule, I look around and I don't hear people complaining. We used to get calls on the show ad nauseum about, I'm losing my house and losing my job, and the world's coming to an end.
401k took a crap.
Yeah, and you don't get those anymore. And certainly people feel better about things, and also you get used to a new reality, right? You get used to the fact that, okay, it isn't going to, maybe it won't be like it was before, so this is my new reality. But I just don't know. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. And if you can put your finger on it, please give us a call. Let me know. 339-1140. You can text me at 44-1140. Why is the stock market doing so well in your mind? What is it? Is it sheer market manipulations, that tail wagging the dog? Or is it companies that are making real good profits, but they're not hiring anybody? I think that might be part of it. Technology's gotten a lot better. We're doing more with less. Our industry, I would think that, but our industry has gone to, is going to a lot of different technological moves where we don't need maybe as many people. Well, the part I like about it is maybe we don't need people at our office. We are, in our industry right now, quite frankly, we could all work from our house, and the consumer wouldn't know the difference. Going to a paperless system and moving around, is that making things, more profitable without necessarily bringing on more staff? I mean, I honestly, I couldn't tell you exactly why the market is booming as much as it has been. But I do think it's a good point for you to stop and look and say, okay, well, how did I do the first 6 months, and what should I change? And do I think the next 6 months will be the same as the first? Most people will tell you that all the profits are made in the first quarter, and then it kind of goes flat from there on out. So maybe whip out your statement, and if you don't know, ask your 401k provider, what am I making? And if you're only making 4 or 5%, maybe you got all your money in bonds and you're getting your butt kicked right now. And maybe you got all your money in cash because you're afraid of the whole world coming to an end. There's a bunch of people doing that.
Probably a lot of that too. Yeah,
myself included. I had a bunch of money just sitting on the side going, I'm not sure that I want to move some money in there. And likewise, if you're making 15 to 20%, is that something that's going to continue? Did you already ride the wave of something else? So I think it's a good point in time. It's in the summer. I know everybody's got a lot of things to do, but take a quick look at your statement and say, what am I doing? And should I maybe rebalance that a little bit right now? And if you're making more than 13, great, congratulations. And if you're making under, maybe you should be asking some questions, and maybe you asked for that kind of return. So we do got to take a break. We do have a couple phone lines open. If you want to chime in, 44-1140, you can do that. And you can give us a call, 339-1140. I'd love to hear from you. Are you in the market? Is it time to get in the market for you? If you're in the market, do you think it's overheated? And I'm talking about the stock market. We're going to talk about the real estate market in an hour or two because it's doing some interesting things as well. Did you lose 23% of your gold teeth in the front? You're down to a cap and a half. We'll talk about that as well. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 44-1140. We do have a quiz question for you. Did our previous winner take the Hellwig tickets, or we still have that pair? We still have the Hellwig? Okay. So we have one pair of tickets to the Hellwig.
Little Texas. Little Texas is playing. They're known as America's favorite rockin' country band. They'll be playing Saturday, July 13th out at Hellwig Winery.
That's an evening show?
That is an evening show.
8 p.m. or
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Yes.
There you go. That'll be nice and cool by then.
Exactly.
Okay.
Plus, you're up in the hills.
What you got?
So, in honor of the 100th Tour de France today started this morning.
Did it?
Yes, it did.
I don't see that on TV.
And it was early this morning.
Oh.
But anyway, the question is, what happened at the end of the stage that screwed up all the sprinters and the finish today? What occurred? What was the occurrence that happened at the end of stage 1 finish line that screwed up the sprinters and created some excitement?
So they couldn't finish?
They finished, but not quite.
Not as predicted?
That's right.
Was there was a kid in Walmart that stole some TVs in France?
Something like that.
Yeah, okay. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 44-1140 if you'd like. What kind of bungled up the you're talking about the end of the race then?
That's right, at the finish line.
Of the Tour de France today? Where's that race held anyway?
France.
Oh, okay. This is Talkin' Money. We'll be right back.
Talkin' money.
And here we go again. It's Talkin' Money with Jeff Tarbell.
Right. Who is this?
Changing it up a little bit.
No, who's the? I'm gonna just blank on the who sings this.
I want to play again.
Oh, it's 38 Special. That's who it was. Speaking of that, did we get a winner, by the way? We did get a winner of the quiz question. So what happened at these? So I'm guessing like the first guy on his bike crashed and just everybody wiped out.
Actually, there was a huge crash, but it was about 3 kilometers from the finish line.
And don't we want to watch bike racing for the same reason we watch NASCAR? We're looking for the crashes. I mean,
no.
Well, you're a former rider because that gives you the EBGs. For the rest of us,
man, it's brutal.
Right, Chris? That's the only reason you're watching. You want to see some guy just take someone out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Come on. It's just like
It's
NASCAR.
brutal.
So what happened then?
But anyhow, I don't know the details other than...
That'll never stop us on the show from giving out information.
What happens is in a sprint finish, today was a sprint finish, first sprint finish in stage 1 in a long time, celebrating the 100th Tour de France. But so they had told the riders where the finish line was going to be, and then they had to change it a little bit mid stage. But a bus apparently got stuck underneath the finish line banner. So it created a little bit of an issue with where the finish line was, and then all the star sprinters went down, and then the Yahoos got by. I say the Yahoos. These are the best guys in the world. But, yeah. So there's a little malfunction at the end.
Now, I think we're starting to get... I don't think they should tell you where the finish line is when the race starts. I think that would be more fun. And... watch, seeing the bus here and then watching all these bikers into the back of the bus. Now I'm watching. You got me watching.
Apparently that same thing happened, though, about 3 kilometers from the end. It was a big, old, gnarly pileup. So.
Just keep moving the finish line.
Not a good way to start your first ride for the next 21 days is to go down hard on the pavement.
Or hit the back of a bus.
Yeah, either way, you're not in good shape.
Yeah, so we did get a couple winners on that. Off the text line, Jeff... the thought of you processing my loan in your underwear is a bit off-putting. This is what we're talking about working from home.
Oh, shoot.
Well, we do the radio show in our underwear every week. I don't know what you're talking about. What's your problem? Get over it. From the 916, what's the best way to pull equity out of my house? Sell it. You want to get down to it. From the 916, what's the best way to pull equity out of my house? If you have any equity, first of all, pat yourself on the back. And a lot of you do. In fact, a lot of you probably have more equity than you think.
Right.
How much equity do you want, and what are you going to do with it? And most of your equity lines, your lines of credit, got burned pretty bad last time go around. So they have kind of cut themselves back to about a maximum 80% of the value of your house, and that's a combined loan to value. So if let's say you owe 100 and it's worth 2, they'll go up to 160 maybe. If you already owe 160, they're not going to give you any more equity out of it.
Right.
And that's the same thing with a new mortgage as well. You're going to be stuck to about 80%. Maybe you could find an 85, but somewhere in there. So a lot of people have equity in their house, but it's not mineable equity. Equity you can get out. But a lot of you do. And so you might look around and say, is it generally you can get a line of credit for free? They may charge a $300 application fee. They might not. Most of them will do the loan for free and just basically put a little note there that says, if you pay us off in less than 24 months, we can charge you $500.
Right.
And that basically just covers their cost.
First question is probably too, what is the interest rate on your first mortgage? Do you refinance your first mortgage up to an 80%? Or if your first mortgage is in great shape, do you just take out an equity line and move forward?
If you've got a good rate now, I wouldn't go through all the effort of just trying. You want to pull out $20,000 or something. Just go ask for a line of credit. But they're not as easy as you would think.
Not as easy as they used to be at all.
No, and if it's an investment property or a second home, you won't get a line of credit on it. So you'll have to look at some other routes to go. So, and maybe you should just leave the equity in there. As much as I hate to say that, but you can do it, and you can call John or myself, and we can look up some numbers. Go on Zillow if you want to just put in your address on Zillow or Redfin, and just get an idea what it's worth. Take 80% of that and say, what does that leave you? If it only leaves you $5,000 or $10,000, you're not, you probably won't get
probably
it out.
Not worth the $3,000 to do it.
Right, you probably won't get it out anyway. So that's one way, or you can sell the house and pocket the money.
Which a lot of people are doing.
Yeah, and speaking of that, this came up this week a little bit. If you are somebody who had a property that was your primary residence, and then you moved out of it and rented it and bought something else, or even if you rented something else, keep in mind now that you have, and now you're looking around just as I am with my own rentals that are finally now maybe worth a little bit more than I owe, and I'm looking around going, finally I want to, particularly after last week's guest, who was very good on the property management, going, I don't want to do this anymore, and I actually stomped my feet and cringed my hands like a little kid, and so I would love to get out of the rental business, but those are rentals I've always had, so that doesn't apply to me, but it could apply to you. And what I'm saying is, if you were in your house as a primary residence anytime in the last 5 years, and you're looking around now and saying, okay, do I want to sell this and get some money out of it? Remember, you have a tax-free way of making some profit on the sale of a house, as long as it was your primary residence, or what? Or what? 2 out of what?
2 out of 5 the last 5 years.
Right.
So you had to live in it 2 of the last 5 years.
So let's say you moved out of it a couple years ago. You have maybe this year, because it could have been a rental for 3. Because remember, it's 2 out of the last 5. It doesn't have to be this 2. It has to be any 2. So you moved out of it a few years ago when things were kind of stinking, and then you bought the next house you liked, and you kept it and you rented it, and good for you. Thanks for not buying and bailing out of it. But now you're looking around going, hey, wow, I could actually sell this thing and maybe get a little bit of money. And the other thing you can do is, if you've been accumulating depreciation or writing off depreciation, when you sell those properties, you have to recoup that depreciation. So that could be part of the profit you get out of. So if you were in a primary residence in the last 5 years and it's now a rental, don't lose track of that date.
Right.
Of the 5-year mark from the time, or I should say the 3-year mark when you left, made it a rental. Because with the way the market is right now, you could be missing an opportunity to sell that house and take some profits tax-free or get out of it. So, and that's an easy date to forget.
Yeah, definitely.
And it'll blow right by.
So if you're sitting there thinking, well, the market might increase, I'm going to wait another year or two, that taxability might cost you more than selling now.
Yeah, and it probably will be worth it more in a year or two. And you got to do the math. Okay, if I waited another year and I lose the tax-free ability of it,
right.
Okay, yeah, I would have made an extra $40,000, but overall in the overall picture, it may cost me $40,000 in terms of tax. So, okay, did I win or did I lose? No, I'm not saying go dump the place. You say, hey, I'm going to hold this thing for 10 years. Hold it for 10 years, but just don't lose track of that date. We got to take a break for the end of the hour here. We are coming back for hour 2 of 2. Got a lot of good real estate news, some interesting real estate news. Talk a little bit about the high-speed rail. That's coming up. FHA released a report this week on all the things that we as lenders don't do well. And you'll know now why we ask you for some of the things we ask you for. And we'll take all your calls and questions.
Crazy list.
I do have a quiz. I have a question for the break there. We got enough time, Chris, to take a quick quiz? Yeah? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, or you can text us at 44-1140. And I got a bunch of texts here I got to read too. I'll read those during the break as well. So this gentleman, Chip Starnes, owns Specialty Medical Supply, was just released from captivity. Who was holding Chip Starnes in Beijing, China, captive for over a week in his own building? 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us 1140. Who let him go and why were they holding him? Think about that. Oh, I can't give that away anymore. Chris has actually taken this place hostage a few times too, but nobody cared. They just said, hey, when you're done, clean up the place. We'll take it back. This is Talkin' Money. John Fodorero, Jeff Tarbell, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 44-1140 if you'd like. I do have a few texts. I will read those during the break. This is the weekend before the weekend, before the week of the taking time off, the summer of taking time off. Let's just take the whole summer off. In 109, I'm not working anyway.
No.
But I do have to hose down my pool.
Hopefully you're doing that. Lots of water.
I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting right here. In my underwear, apparently. As always, this is Talkin' Money. We'll be right back.
Talkin' money. Talkin' money.
Let's rejoin your host, Jeff Tarbell, and Talkin' Money.
How you doing? The local boys there. Well, what? Oh, no, our screen's blanking. Yeah, this is the new technology. We need an iPad. Here's what we need. The new technology at the CBS studios is, we're going to be back to charts and graphs and wiggle worms here in a minute. We did get a winner to our quiz question, Mike. And Mike, it looks like he wanted some River Cats or maybe some pizza. I can't tell which. The question was, and by the way, welcome back. If you're just tuning in, we start at 9. We expect you on time. Put your cell phones away. Pay attention. Not you. Kids in the class there. John's talking. Look, John's got his phone in front of me. He's like, "Oh, sorry, dude." Specialty Medical Supply Company. The owner, Chip Starnes, was held hostage beginning June 21st. Was finally released. Yes, he was held by his own employees, who locked him in his own building. So we're not letting you out till you settle on some severance package. It looks like they're going to do a little bit of a downsizing there in China. They don't go for that so well. Or maybe they were right to lock him up. I don't know the whole story behind it. Looks like in January this year, about 1,000 workers at the Shanghai Shinmi Electric Company held Japanese and Chinese managers hostage in a factory. That was another trend going on there. So I guess careful if you own your own little Subway store there locally. Your hostages, your employees hold you hostage. You're going to be eating your own product there for a little bit. So that could happen in our office. I have an emergency bottle of tequila in my office. I'll be fine.
Emergency.
And a whole bucket of Pez, which are now disappearing quickly.
That was quite the purchase.
The Pez purchase?
Pez purchase.
Yeah,
yes.
you gotta have Pez if you don't. I was going to read some text there, but our text line has gone down for just a minute. One of the questions was from the 209. Listener wants to start investing in or putting away some money in retirement, doesn't like the 401k or the 403b concept, and was asking me if I knew something about a 702 or a 7702. Maybe John can Google that. That is not something I'm familiar with. That doesn't mean anything because I don't set up retirement accounts on a daily basis, but I'll have John Google it and see if he finds it. And if you know something about a 7 or 702 program, I don't know. I don't know what your reluctance is to a 401k, to be quite honest with you, because most of those programs are administered by large 401k administrators, big companies. Now, if your 401k program only invests in your own company, then I would say that's probably not so great. But generally, you can go out and pick up any investment you want. You could buy, outside of the 401k. The fees on them are generally reasonable. You have a variety of selections to do, and particularly, and I say this with an exclamation point, particularly if your employer will match you some portion or all of what you'll do, and usually it's anywhere between 1 to 3 to 4% generally. If you can get that, you're getting free money. And so why not do the 401k?
Apparently, because the 7702 private retirement plan, some of the highlights are no contribution limits, no pre-age 59.5 IRS or state penalties for withdrawal, no minimum age withdrawal requirements, no loan limits or repayment requirements. So I guess some of the challenges around this are, and rightfully so, with the IRAs and such. If you take the money out early, you're getting penalized. You have a limit of how much you can put into it. So
first off, and again,
there's got to be rules. There's always rules.
Well, again, I am totally talking, out my left ear here. But my guess is if you are an employee in a company that has a 401k program, you cannot elect to choose a 770 that plan. Is my guess. Because quite frankly, if there was a plan that had no limit on contributions, we would all be in it, or at least want that option of putting as much as you can into it. And I think right now you're limited to on the 401k $17,000, or if you're over 59, maybe it's a little bit more. But so that's got to be something that I will check into it. I promise you. And I have a couple financial planners that monitor this show on a daily basis. If they want to call in and tell us about is it a 7702 or a
7702?
Okay. So 339-1140 or 1-800-920-1140. If you are a financial planning expert and familiar with the 7702 plan, we are getting some calls on that as an option for somebody. That'd be great. I'd love to hear about it too. But if it sounds too good to be true, then there's some, like you said, there's some rule we haven't.
There's something for sure
put into place yet. So we'll come back to that. I promise you. And the other question was, who makes the rules on whether you can put money here and there? Your legislators, your federal government makes the rules on who can do what, and the IRS enforces them. So that's how that worked out. And so we'll come back to that. I did mention before the beginning of the break, or the first hour today, market up 13.8% for the year, although down 3.2% since the peak. And I had mentioned, do you think the second half looks as good as the first half? Is this the time you want to get into the stock market, or the time you want to get out of it, or the time you just sit I'm going to sit and hold? I was lamenting that I, quite honestly, don't know if I can put my finger on why the first half has been so good. And I don't know, maybe there's not one single thing you can put your finger on. Maybe there is. But the headline Wall Street Journal this morning, markets brace for a post-Fed world. And basically what they're referring to is some comments that were made by the Fed, in particular, Ben Bernanke, who came out and said, really what he said was the same thing he's been saying. And I think this is what's throwing everybody off a little bit is he came out and said, hey, we would like to get out of we'd like to get out of QE3. We'd like to get out of printing money. We'd like to get out of buying all these bonds. We'd like to get out of the market. But we're not going to do that until we're ready and the market is ready. Now, that's the same sentiment that he's been said since they got in the market.
Right, 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, there is no difference. And he had to come out again this week. This was a very unusual week in a couple things. Not only did the chairman of the Fed, Bernanke, come out and said, these three gentlemen also came out, individual Fed Fed members who you wouldn't know if you were sitting next to them at the Burger King. You wouldn't know them. If I told you their names, you wouldn't know them. If I dropped you off at their office, you wouldn't know them. But they are in charge of their individual Feds in different locations. So they all
it mattered whether they have a voting right or not, too.
Yeah, and they're all, remember, they're a collective organization. They get together and they form policy. Just because one guy spews what the policy is publicly, there's a lot of very smart men and women behind them that come up with the policy. And it's highly unusual for them to individually come out on their own and say, hey, settle down. And that's effectively what they did. Hey, kids, settle down. We have not changed our policy one iota here yet. We will, and I'll read to you here what came out this week. They're trying to come out and provide some comfort to the market. If the economy does not improve along the lines we expect, we'll provide additional support. So not only do they say that, yes, we would like to get out, but we're not going to get out until we're ready. And if we don't see things going the way we like them, we'll actually come in and kick up the gas a little bit more. So
meanwhile, the stock market took a crumble. Mortgage interest rates are up a point plus.
Yeah, average mortgage rate now.
And nothing's really changed.
4.6%. And you almost had the feel, and I always use there's so many chairs, and we're all walking around, and the music stops. Everybody got to grab a chair, and then one guy's left standing there. The old cakewalk or whatever you want to call it. I mean, just whatever musical chairs. There's one chair missing. We're going to pull another chair out next time it goes around. And in the bond world, and in all investments, you don't want to be the last guy standing, going, "Damn, I missed the chair." So I think it's a little bit short-sighted by the Fed to say, "Oh, we can't believe you guys are all freaking out." I mean, I think it caught them off guard, but once once a Goldman Sachs or once somebody says, "Okay," and advises their clients, "We're out of this investment, we're moving on because we don't want to be the last one standing," then everybody else is going to stand around with their thumb in their nose, going, "Oh no, we'll just wait. We'll wait for the building to fall on our head entirely." That doesn't happen, and so for me, it doesn't really matter whether they want to get out July, whatever this week meeting was, or September's meeting, or November's meeting. It doesn't matter. They're getting out. So you have to look and say, okay, I'm not investing. I'm not buying things for the next 35 minutes. I'm buying them for the next year, quarter, year, 2 years. So do I want to wait till the fire's already started, or do I want to get out? And I don't think they have to say. The Fed. I don't think they have to say anything. You could, if you're a trader, if you're an investor, you're an advisor, you have to look around and make your own decision. I don't care what they're telling me, they're spoon feeding me. I look and see that the economy is doing better. I look and see that gold is starting to. So I'm looking at the signs and saying this is going to change, whether they tell me it's going to change or not. And that's what happened. Is individual investors and big companies said, we know it's going to change. We're not waiting for it.
Yeah.
And I've always said all along on this show that you want to know what's going to happen in the future, don't listen to what the federal government tells you. Hell, they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You watch what the market tells you is going to do. It's looking 3 to 6 to 9 months down the line. It'll tell you what they know what's going to happen. Some of it's self-fulfilling. When they all run out the door, rates go up with them. But I think it's a joke to say the Feds should say you guys shouldn't freak out. People are not freaking out. This is a bubble that's been going on a long time. They're going to get out when they want to get out.
Yeah, and the joke on the bond market, though, I mean, Bernanke talks, everything goes crazy one way. These other guys come in, and then it settles, and it's just all based on verbiage. I mean, it's crazy that the market reactions from it.
Well,
although, as you're saying, the big picture really is look at the market, look what's going on, and something needs to change. You blame it on verbiage. Remember when we had the U.S. Embassy that got attacked, and they said it was blamed on a video? It wasn't blamed on a video. This happened to be common. It was an easy way to blame it on something else too. It's easy to blame it and say, well, right, Bernanke should open his mouth. But you know what? Everybody in the world's been sitting around going, okay, when do we get out? When do we get out? Because it's coming.
Rates aren't going to be zero forever. I mean, that's not realistic. And I can tell you, there's a whole bunch of retirees and people that are on fixed income that are going, awesome.
Yes.
Finally, rates are coming up a little bit because we're making nothing. So rates can't be 0 and 1s and 2s. They got to be more. And so this is going to provide another stream of income for other people that have been sitting around waiting for something to happen. So it was an interesting week. And I would say kind of, this week as far as compared to the last few in the mortgage world, things, kind of non-eventful finally a little bit. We have to now get used to a new language. The new language is 4s and 5s.
Right.
I quoted a 5% mortgage on something the other day. That's the first time I've done that, and I'm not sure.
Quoted a couple of them this week.
Yeah,
90% purchase.
And it is. And tell me if you're seeing this too, and if you're a realtor out there and you're seeing this as well. I'm getting this feedback from the realtors. Our local market is cooling a little bit, and I think that we've taken some of the flippers out of the transact because now the prices have come up a little bit. Now it's hard to flip and make a profit, or not as easy. Some of the people that were paying all cash for investment properties, price comes up a little bit. All of a sudden, it's not quite a good return. Quite the deal. So maybe some of these people are starting to back off a little bit, and now maybe rates instead of being 3 something are going to be 4 something is going to be cool the temperament a little bit. And it's first of summer, people are on vacation, that's cooling a bit. So I've been telling those that have been out there shopping and looking for homes, clients of mine that are frustrated I can't find. So I said, go back and ask.
Right.
Because now I've actually seen on Facebook, on different places, I did a price reduction on my house. Prices,
definitely. And that's in the marketplace. There's also one of the big buyers out there, investment buyers. I had lunch with a realtor the other day, and this large investor in Sacramento area, now when they run their pencil and their numbers, they don't work. They're not buying anymore. So that's telling me that the game is changing. But from that, we'll probably see the smaller investors. So it's all good. It's just change.
Yeah, I would much rather on any given day, I'd much rather have a home sold to an owner-occupied user than an investor generally, because the owner-occupied user when an investor buys a house, that's kind of, they fix it, that's it. There's nothing else that kind of goes on. Owner-occupant buys it, boom, they look around, curtains need to be replaced, this needs replacing, my car doesn't look good, all those things that go on, new landscaping, blah, 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 blah. It just spins off 3 times the cycle. So I'd much rather have an owner-occupant be in a house generally than an investor. So that's good. We do have to take a break here for the beginning of the hours. You got anything on mind? Your quiz is there?
Sure, since it's so hot outside.
Okay.
We're going to pull this one out of the back. So the question is, what is the number 2 best-selling beverage in the U.S. after traditional soda? What is the best-selling beverage in the U.S. after traditional soda?
And are you asking for like a brand name?
A brand name.
Oh, okay.
This is a brand name. I can tell you nothing right now. Otherwise, it might give it away.
Okay.
Being that it's hot outside.
339-1140. So not just the liquid, but the brand. Okay.
The brand. I can tell you. I'll give you a hint. It's made by Coca-Cola Bottling Company.
Yep.
And it's not soda pop.
It's bottled by Coca-Cola.
That's right.
339-1140. 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 4411. Nah, you can't text us at 441140 if you don't want to. You can email me, Jeff at jefftarbell.com. That appears to be working. If you want something to work in a radio station, bring your own gear. This is why I have my own.
We're training we're going to turn the iPads.
And this is not working either. It's getting hot in here. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right
back. Jack.
Talking money.
And we're back to Talkin' Money. And here's Jeff Tarbell.
Right. How you doing? We did not get a winner to that quiz question just yet. It is not Gatorade. I don't. Chris, does Coke own Gatorade? I don't think so.
Pepsi does.
Pepsi does. Okay, yeah. So it's this is a Coke product. I'll tell you. I can't tell you anything.
Made by Coca-Cola Bottling.
Well, it's bottled by Coca-Cola Bottling.
Right, bottled what?
There you go.
We're still looking for
the brand.
The
number one selling brand besides soda, brand of beverage. The beverage is water. I'll tell you that. But if you know the brand name of the number one bottled water in the country, they tell you how much they actually sell of that. Did they get any numbers in there? No.
No, but apparently it doesn't taste like water.
What?
That's what it says. It says new drinks go after people who don't like the bland taste, controlling the flavor. Water with some pop to it.
Yeah, so you get that there, Chris? Got it. Yeah, so I like I like the Sobe. If you have the Sobe their flavored waters, basically.
Not seen it.
What?
Sobe flavored water. They got all that Sobe stuff.
No, I don't
not the flavored water.
No, 0 calories, 0. It's water, but it's really good.
Haven't seen it.
Sobe. Hey, here's a emergency alert for you.
Emergency alert.
Emergency alert.
Listen up,
and you literally have what time is it? So you got 36 hours to get this done. Go fill up your gas tanks and whatever else you need gas and get it filled up this weekend. Monday morning, July 1st, price of gasoline will go up in California 3.5 cents, guaranteed. The State Board of Equalization approved raising the excise tax for gasoline from 36 to 39.5 cents, effective July 1. The hike was signed by former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger in 2010, created a new tax structure for gasoline, and mandated that the board and just the state gas excise tax rate go up. So See what there's other stuff in there too, other BS explanations, but that wasn't actually what caught my eye in the papers. But anyway, we fill up, save yourself 3.5 cents per gallon. This is the product that I actually might leave the mortgage business entirely and become a rep for this product. It is such a home run winner. There is no way you can lose.
Do tell.
There is no way you can lose. You combine the two greatest things in the world, according to some and not myself, getting high and getting hungry.
Okay.
And they're in one product now that'll do both. Well, kind of do both.
Brownies?
No, but better than this is better than brownies. Anybody want to take a guess? What is better than brownies? How about bacon? So what if you had pot-infused bacon?
Okay.
And if you're selling that
for breakfast,
whatever, man,
any time of the day,
because the higher you get, the hungrier you get.
You can put it in your who's making that milkshake with bacon? Bacon flavored milkshake.
Oh, I
remember that.
Yeah, I did. I did see that. I don't remember where. So check this out. Up in the beautiful state of Washington, which I am now, by the way, a licensed loan originator in the state of Washington. Paching. Write that down. But I'm quitting the mortgage business because they figured out a way to take all the byproduct of. So I guess when you're selling marijuana and you're selling the good stuff in the stores up there, you have a lot of other stems and leaves and other things that come off the plant. They've just been chucking them out. And they decided, you know what, we're going to box this stuff up. We're going to sell it to pig farmers. The pig farmers use it as feed, and the pork chops and the bacon that come out with a little bit of a hint of
little THC.
Yeah, a little THC hint to it. So there can't be a better product in the world because as you're eating my bacon, technically you're not getting high. I know I got to work on the marketing a little bit better too. But where else could you possibly get them high and then feed them bacon that tastes like they're getting high again too? This is a win-win. I'll be a billionaire if I could figure out how to market this better. But someone else is ahead of me. But I don't know if anybody else wants to be on my sales team. We're going to be selling the THC flavored bacon in the state of Washington. And believe me,
and we could do that off of the big crane that holds the dinners up in the air.
That's right. Yeah, and
you're on to something.
And you're so stoned up there, you can't figure out how to get off. It would charge you even more to get off the crane. And if you've ever been to the world famous Pike's Market in Seattle, they are selling the bacon in the pork chops right there, $17 a pound for bacon. I don't know what bacon is running on per pound right now, but I don't know if that's a premium or not. But I haven't purchased a pound of bacon lately, but I'm guessing that might be a little bit premium. But there you go. That is the pot flavored bacon, which I'm on board. I'm on your sales staff. I'm going to get shirts, hats. We'll get some radio commercials going. Chris, cut me some spots during the break, will you? Pot infused bacon. Well, the hemp.
Call it baked. Ken.
Marketing director Chris Verlad. baked in, IN. There you go. So that's my latest and greatest. Chris, you got some phones ringing there. We did get some winners there. Here you go off the text line. Gatorade, Snapple, Aquafina, Vitamin, and Dasani. Any of those ring a bell?
Yes. Ding, 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 ding.
Which one? Vita?
Dasani.
Oh, Dasani. Dasani, the number, what is it? The number one what?
The number 2 best-selling beverage in the U.S. after traditional soda. Dasani. That was a Wall Street Journal, Personal Journal report.
So do you buy water by brand name or by price?
Price.
Yeah, me too. You see, I was in this hotel this weekend in San Francisco. They have those really all glass, bottle.
Fancy.
Yeah, Voss or Boss.
Boss, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like $4 a bottle.
Yeah, well, what am I going to carry on a glass bottle? Am I like thinking of breaking my lap?
You bring it on the airplane, it weighs, it's heavy.
You can't bring it. Try it. Cost United
fuel costs.
American Airlines $1 million too, just to carry all the bottled water on the plane. So we did get a winner, Chris. You can take the first one from the 707 there that said Dasani. He's got him. So we'll give him some choice of some River Cats or some pizza, whatever he wants to do there, he or she. I did see that. Okay. This is on the text line here. So we're getting some answers to our 7702 program.
Okay.
7702 retirement plan, overfunding a cash value life insurance plan to take advantage of the tax-free growth potential in life insurance. So what you're doing, and correct me if I'm wrong there, texter, but you're not getting a tax deduction likely for putting the money in, where you would a 401k. So your money, you'd put in $200 a month, and that $200 would not be taxed.
Right.
I'm guessing the 7702 retirement plan, you are building up cash value insurance. The thing can grow, and you can pull the funds back out. So maybe more similar to a Roth IRA, where the money goes in after tax,
right?
It comes out. So so interesting. So that's probably a very specialized. I'm trying to figure out who that would be ideal for, but I still think your basic.
Yeah, still got to diversify and
your basic 401k. And like I always say, if you're getting matching, you're getting free money. There's just such a great plan for 99% of the people out there, maybe 90% of the people out there. Check this out, Sacramento and others in the Case-Shiller 20 U.S. metropolitan areas. Sales of new homes rose to their highest level in 5 years. Existing home prices up an average of 12.1% over last year. And even with the average mortgage rate hitting 4.6 this week from 3.59 in early May, house is still holding still. The National Association of Realtors said sales of previously owned homes rose 4.2% to 5.2 million in May, the highest level since 2009. And I promise you that would be 6.2 million homes for sale if we had anything to sell in Northern California here, because there's a couple million people that would love to. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but certainly a few 100,000 that would be love to get into a house, as of yesterday. And the biggest number one month-to-month improving city in the United States, you want to take a guess? It went up 24%.
City?
Yep.
Phoenix.
No. Right in our backyard. Was there yesterday.
San Jose.
San Francisco.
24%.
Detroit held flat. So San Francisco kicking booty down there again.
Is that month over month?
Yeah, from April this year to April last year, so up 24%. So that'll be something to see if we are going to hold that trend or not. We're going to take another break here in just a minute, too. This is the other little, I didn't read this, but it caught my eye. Student loan rates appeared to set to double. That could be, that's what I think I think that's our next biggest balloon.
Can you wait like 8 years?
Why? No,
I got kids going to school.
Yeah, I know, but this is for loans that are already out there too. So you think about without congressional action, the interest rate on a new federally subsidized Stafford loan will double to 6.8 from 3.4 starting July 1. That's Monday. So not only is your gas going up, some 9 million students are projected to take out subsidized Stafford loans for the next year. White House estimates that the rate doubles, student borrowers on average would pay roughly $1,000 over the lifetime of each loan they take out. So that takes congressional action, and guess what? It's a weekend. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I thought there was one other thing on here I was interested in. I guess it's not on that page. Okay. We got that one covered. I'm glad to hear about we're up 12%. Actually, might be a little higher in our area here in Sacramento. That's 12% on the total 20 indexes. I'm not reading that. And I'm not reading that one. So you can text me all you want.
Somebody's eating bacon?
I have no. It was talking about the flavor of Dasani, I'm sure. And Colin said I was correct there on my assumption on the 7702 plan. The money goes in after tax. So
it's like a whole life plan, kind of.
Well, again, you're getting growth. You're getting the growth of the plan that's tax free. But right now, getting some of that. Well, I guess some people would ask you, what do you think tax rates will be, cheaper now or later? And I would say
everybody says later.
Yeah, because we have less people working, we're going to need more money. So theoretically, that's why the Roth IRA is so popular. Take the hit now, pay the tax bill now. The rates aren't going to get any cheaper. And I would probably tend to agree with that. Get the tax savings later on. My concern is this: the government is notorious for screwing us every step of the way. And you're going to go to take your money out of the Roth IRA someday. They're going to go, oh yeah, that's not working for us. We're gonna have some sort of tax coming out, and we will, bend over and take it because we don't revolt. We need a
revolution.
Did you see that? Did you see that Chinese Parliament this week? That
Did see that?
Where they get in a big old fight. We need Congress to just get in there and just kick each other's ass, just get in a fight, full blown knockdown.
At least they'll be doing something.
Hey, you're right, Chris. That would be activity, and you know what? I would pay-per-view that. I would, and I'm not talking to Chris's free HBO. I'm on pay-per-view. I want to see you guys, and I don't even care who wins. I just want to see someone. I want to see someone come out of there with a busted nose. bleeding all over your shirt, and just getting the crap kicked out of each other. And I will watch. And then I'll send my tax money in. And that I'm paying for. The rest of the stuff I'm not paying so much for. We got to take a quick break. This is Talkin' Money. 339-1140 if you want to jump in. 1-800-920-1140. You can text us if you'd like. 44-1140. Hope you are staying cool. Actually, got a little cool in here.
AC kicked in.
Yeah, we may have to just stay here and do like a full.
We'll keep going.
We'll just sit here all day with the lights off.
I don't want to go outside.
Fetal position. Don't make me leave. Chris, take us away. We'll be right back.
Talkin' money.
Under attack, always coming in last, bringing up the past. No one owes you anything, I think. You need a shotgun blast, a kick in the ass, so paranoid. Watch your back!
Let's get back to action with Talkin' Money and your host, Jeff Tarbell.
Right, how you doing? Final segment of the day. This is pretty cool. Well, a bad thing that was cool. I mentioned last week the private fund for the Boston Marathon bombers, the single largest kind of self-funded group, are up to $60.9 million. What I always don't like is when you see these entities, they come together, and then everybody kind of gets there and kind of creates a job for themselves. It's like the entity just is there to create an entity, and it just goes on forever. And this was cool because this week they've got all their money together. They hit almost $61 million, and they dispersed. They made all their awards. Boom. All the money's going to be gone, and we're out of here. And they are going to award, I think it was up to, $2.2 million to each of the double amputees and the families of the 4 people who were killed. That includes the police officer who was at the college and the couple people that were killed there. So another 14 people who lost limbs will receive nearly $1.2 million each. And then they have varying payout. 69 people who were hospitalized for at least one night will receive about $125,000, and $948,000 for the 10 victims who spent there almost a month. So, it doesn't matter how they came up with the formula. They came up with something. They gave a chance to people that were involved to come and give a little speech or just some background on what they've been through, and the money's going out, and the entity closes down, and we're done. And that is what you call a super efficient, super effective. The government wasn't involved.
Yeah,
we didn't have a bunch of TV stars doing a concert for this and that, and it wasn't ruined. It wasn't bastardized. It was just. Money came in, and people who deserve it are going to get it. There wasn't any attorney. Well, I'm sure there'll be some. I don't know. There'll be any attorneys involved. I don't know who you would sue, but I just think it was a phenomenally perfect response and distribution. And you could say, where else would the money have come from? Someone who's lost a leg to get $1 million, and someone whose family was killed to get a couple $1 million that they may not have had any other coverage anyway. It's awesome response out of a very, very bad deal. And so I hope we never have to do that again, but that there will be another one. I hope that they hire those guys and say, how did you guys do it?
How'd you do it? And
how'd you do it? And
congratulations for getting it done.
Yeah, so that was cool. That was some good news out of some bad news, and that part I liked. I did see this week, I've been carrying around this stuff on the bullet train and the high-speed rail. I'm going to save that for another day, but that's a whole problem by itself, the high-speed rail. I still. Is anybody else happy with the way the Bay Bridge is going? Anybody?
No.
Raise your hand. Happy with the price tag? Happy with the quality of work? Raise your hand if you are. I don't want to drive across the damn thing. You can have a killer light show, but we'll talk about that another day if we want to get around to that. I did see that. We've been talking about this for a while. I thought it was going to come around, and it looks like it's going to at least hit the floor. January 25th, 2013, a Senate bill to abolish Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will finally be introduced today after months of preparation, although not widely believed to be passable in its current form. It is significant to the housing market. It would liquidate the two. This is the funny part. Liquidate the two entities and create a new one.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we want to get out of the business, but we're going to create a new one called the Federal Mortgage Insurance. Federal Mortgage Insurance Corporation, tentatively named that, designed to ensure a liquid mortgage market, and they'll come up with what they call a catastrophic fund, very similar to like the FDIC's and depositor insurance fund. So here's the problem. Half the people want the government out of the business entirely, so they don't want a new entity. The other half want the government in the business because it will keep a liquid source of funds. And quite frankly, it is making all kinds of money right now for them. We'll see how that continues, but they're printing money at the moment. And I was trying to remember, as quizzing John before the show, and I think I've recalled it properly, but I went back and I want to say I think the federal government did a 6-month extension of either reducing the Social Security tax or the unemployment tax, or there was some tax that we got a very, very short-term break, and they extended it for, I think it was 6 months, and I for the life of me, I got to dig it up, I can't find it. I think it was where they reduced the Social Security withholding from us. Remember, it finally went back up.
Yes.
Yeah, and they extended it 6 months, and that was at the end of last year, and they were going to pay for that with 10 years of increased cost on a Fannie Mae loan. And I was lamenting at the time. I said, we're going to take a 6-month benefit. We're going to pay for it for 10 years. And oh, by the way, all the future and new homeowners are going to pay that bill, not anybody else. And now this says they want to be out of the Fannie Mae close in 5 years. So they don't even remember their own math. We just financed something else for 10 years on Fannie Mae's back, and now you say you want to be rid of Fannie Mae in 5 years. How are you going to do that? I mean, they make so many damn crazy rules, they can't even keep track of their own rules. But I am sitting here today and telling you that the federal government will not, in total form, get out of becoming, having some sort of a GSE, some sort of a guaranteed entity that helps fund or acquire or facilitate the movement of mortgages. It isn't going to happen.
No way.
It isn't going to happen. And if it were to happen, if you thought rates were high now, just wait. Because there is still, like it or not, there's a implied warranty that the federal government will make whole on those loans, and that's why rates are so low. This is why a jumbo loan is not as low, because there is no warranty. The government has no interest at all in them. They're strictly a deal between you and the bank, or you, the bank, and some investors down the road, which is why generally when rates were 3.5, they were 4.5 to 5. There's a 1 to 1.5 point difference. And you take Fannie and Freddie out of the deal, then you add some market move or some market premium to that loan
Due to the risk.
And rightfully so.
Yep.
And rightfully so. So it'll be interesting to see who wins the battle here. On does the government get out entirely? Do we come out with one? I mean, what's the I have said for a long time, why do we have Fannie and Freddie anyway? I mean, they're both stepchildren of one another, and they both are very, very very, very similar now. If not, they're not identical, but they're close. But why? Why do we have these two entities together? I mean,
great question.
Merging them together into one entity, I could see makes some sense, and that probably would be something that comes together. But there's a lot of people who say we've had enough of this. We are out of here. And boy, you start taking the Fed out of buying bonds and supporting that. You start taking the government out of Fannie and Freddie. You start taking all these things out of the pie. I hope they don't all come together at one time.
He ain't seen nothing yet.
Because it will be a wild week.
Oh, my goodness.
I will be selling, in fact, THC-infused bacon on Pike Square, because that will be the only thing that will be for sure. So we'll see how that goes. That was interesting news. And I'll keep our fingers crossed. This was the list. Go ahead, Johnny. What is this? We'll finish up today. We've got how are we doing on time there, Chris? Okay.
The top 5 findings ranked by category of bad loans that go through the system.
Yeah, so FHA, which is has been one of the majority insurers of mortgages, they go backwards and they look and say, we've got all these loans in from you guys, and we're looking for things that don't meet our rules or meet our errors. And a lot of this is going to apply. You're going to people ask all the time, why on earth are you asking me for all this stuff? Why do I have to do this? This is ridiculous. And generally I would agree, but this is why. They came back with a detailed chart of their five main finding categories, basically for reviewing a file after it was sent to FHA for insurance. And the number one, in terms of credit and underwriting, the number one unacceptable item is unsupported or insufficient source of funds. And this is a huge deal, and people don't like it because it's very intrusive. And if you're doing it doesn't matter whether you're doing a refinance or a purchase, or you're doing FHA, or you're doing conventional, or you're doing jumbo, you have got to prove where your money came from. And it gets a lot of bit annoying, because the lending community will go back to the last 2 months of your bank statements, and they will pull up every deposit you've had come in your account, and you basically, with the exception of something that maybe as trivial as, and I'm going to say under $100, you may have to prove where every single deposit came from in your account in the last 2 months. And that gets really annoying.
Especially when that bank statement expires and you have to get the next month's.
Yeah, right. So I tell you, and I tell my clients as they're coming in, please don't move a lot of money around. And if you're making deposits, keep copies of what they are, because this is the number one rule for FHA. The number one violation is not proving where the money came from. And I want to was it 2011 when we started having to we basically had to do the same thing that banks do in terms of tracking cash.
Yes.
I mean, they don't want money laundering in the mortgage business either. So you can't just all of a sudden show up with all cash, your quote unquote mattress money, and not be able to describe where it comes from, because they're looking for drug money, they're looking for terrorist money, they're looking for money that's coming into transactions to make it legit, and you just can't do it. So number one on their list was unacceptable or unsupported or insufficient source of funds. Number two, income improperly documented. And number three, the obligations of borrowers are inaccurate or not supported. And this is a big one. If you'll see now that you'll have to ask and go back and answer every inquiry that's been on your credit report. So I'm doing your loan today, John, and John's got all these different inquiries from the last 3 or 4 months. He's going to have to go back and answer for every one of those inquiries. Did you get a loan? If you got a loan, for how much? And let me tell you what, if you don't answer that correctly, that's mortgage fraud. If you say, "Oh no, I didn't get a loan," I'm not talking about another home loan. I'm just talking about a Subaru. And I bought a Subaru. You don't tell somebody that potentially could be mortgage fraud, and that's a big issue. Number 4 on the list, gift money, concerns related to assets over gifts. And this is the most uncomfortable one probably of the group, because how hard is it for you? Grandma and Grandpa or Mom and Dad said, "Hey, Johnny, I'm going to give you some gift money to buy your next house," and that's very sweet and very, very nice and great. And now you got to go ask your mom or your dad or your grandma and grandpa for their bank statement to show they actually had the money to give.
I love that.
And then grandma and grandpa want to remove their account number off of it, right? I don't blame them. And then you got to go back to them and say, "You can't remove the account number." And so you kind of got to unzip your fly and say, "Look at all the money I do have, and I'm only giving you a small portion." It's just totally uncomfortable.
Right.
So people don't want to do it, so it doesn't get done right. So, and the last one was income improperly calculated. That's very, very hard. I mean, calculating income proper
or from an unacceptable source. Income is challenging.
Yeah, income is challenging, and getting the income accurate, is challenging. What is the right income? I mean, short of just having one job with one W-2 with no tip or bonus. So anyway, that music means we got to wrap it up. I do want to say in our last minute here that this was a very, very sad week for some people very close to us. John and I did a live show with Dan and Tish Abraham. Dan was a realtor in the Natomas area for Keller Williams. A couple weeks ago, crashed his ultralight airplane out in Natomas and did not ultimately recover from that. And in some aspects, I'm glad, because his condition of his life would not be the way he wanted it. But I'm not glad for anything else other than that. And Dan passed away this week, and I am so sorry, Tish, and your family. And that's it. The rest of this show is going to be a moment of silence for Dan. We'll see you next week, everybody. Aloha.